Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to MotorMouth Broadcasting, and welcome into a wet and wild Silverstone International Circuit here this evening for the High Point Racing IMSA Championship. As we come in, the rain has fallen and the spray is large. Drivers will be struggling for grip across the next hour of racing as we go around one of the world's most famous Grand Prix circuits. Hamish Runner here with you alongside Jim Cunningham once again. Let's call the action for you live here for round 4 of this season. It was a wild race last week at Sebring, probably one of the best we have ever seen in the battle for the GTD Pro Class to the very end of that race. It was a dominant performance from the GTP side of things, and the LMP2s lacking a little bit from not as many drivers on track as we would hope to expect. But tonight, though, Silverstone, it's a good circuit. It's a circuit that will offer a good challenge to drivers. You put some water on there, it's going to throw a couple of tests. And it seems tonight, Jim, with the rain, Bernie Eccleston got his wish of putting sprinklers on race circuits because it's a bit wet and wild without the rain falling from the sky at the moment. Thank you. You're muted apparently, Jim. You need to unmute yourself apparently on stream. Too too frantic after running up the stairs, Jim. You out of breath and out of mind apparently. Oh, well, you might need to check your sound settings a little bit there to make sure. Well, as we look into tonight's race, though, as well, the championship is still wide open at this point. Although for the LMP2 class, Daniel Nans will look to go 2 races clear of the rest of the field here tonight. As we look at the GTP class, it is all currently being led out by Navy Thompson, of course, also known as Kane Crawford. And then it is Carlos Ruiz in P2 of the championship, Mike Nitti Jr. in P3, Wig Santiago P4, Tim Keen inside of the top 5, Kenneth Glodden, Faraz Ibrahim, Nathan Biggett, Owen Newman, Aaron Lewis, and then David Dumont makes up the 11 cars in the GTP standings at this point. Over to the LMP2s, as I said, Daniel Nans on 770 points. Tonight, he'll look to go 2 rounds clear of John Esparta in P2 with Jason Blaine in P3, Michael Smith in P4, Javier Lopez, Nicholas Bayman, and Edward Delano for the 7 LMP2 cars within the standings. As we then look to the GTD Pro class, it is Jacob Gruber who's leading the way ahead of Avery Hart, to Sean Green for the top 3, Donald Powell, Lucia Tosi, Lucia Tosi. We were corrected last week.
Yes, we
Lucia
were.
Tosi.
That's right.
Daniel Pino, Jared McKee, Brennan Smith, Zachary Glidden, and then Alex Velasco for the top 10 of the GTD Pro class. And then over to the Pro-Ams, we look to see that Jason Lepan is leading that fight. John Weinreich ahead of Sean Connors, Trevor Thomas, William Hubble for the top 5, Drew Halloran, Christian Ruiz, Tyler Hammond, Cameron DeMonk, and then Chase Eisenberg for the 10 Pro-Am cars as well. For tonight, though, it's going to shake up the championship order just a little bit. There are a couple of big names away here this evening, including Avery Hart of the GTD Pro class. And as I said,
here.
Oh, he's here? Okay, well, he's here.
Avery Hart's here. We don't have Daniel Pino.
That's right. There's no Pino. There's no Tim Keen. There's no Aaron Lewis. So, some of our big hitters from last season are missing tonight. There's only the one LMP2 car, which is Daniel Nans. So, as I said, he will go 2 rounds clear after tonight's race, although he does need to get to a points winning position by the end of the race as qualifying comes to an end here this evening. Ruiz looks to take home the pole for the GTP class. Then Nans obviously pole the LMP2s. Gruber the pole for the Pro-Am, or the pros, and then it's Weinreich, the championship leader, coming home in pole position for the GTD Pro-Am class as well. So it's going to be a hotly contested race between these drivers. An hour of racing at Silverstone. we look forward to seeing what these drivers can do in these wet racing conditions. So, Tim Keen apparently is hoping to make it, but qualifying's already over. He can't join the session once qualifying's done. He has to be in here before qualifying, so I don't think he's going to be able to come racing, Jim.
Before it's over, I think you're correct. I know Tashawn Green jumped in last minute there and did not get a qualifying lap in, as did Christopher Coy. But I do not think, once qualifying's over, I think that's it. So that's unfortunate. And there's no cars left on track, so the session should be switching over here shortly to the warm-up session. And let's make sure they're not going to take that out before we jump out of here and take a look at Silverstone.
If they just... Well, have we had the warm-up session this season? I don't think we have.
Yeah, that's when we have.
Oh, okay.
My memory's failing me, but it's not that bad.
Very
and by
good.
the way, I apologize. I sorted my mic problem out. I got a brand new microphone, and I'm still, my computer and it are still learning how to talk to each other.
You just need to let them have a little cuddle together, and that'll fix it.
They do need to have a little snuggle, yeah. So we just switched over to the warm up session. I bet you they were holding that, trying to figure out how to get the other drivers that showed up late, into the session. But obviously that did not happen, I don't believe. So
no.
Let's go ahead and let's take a look at Silverstone through our track map. Here we go.
Well, of course, it is a very historic circuit, is Silverstone. It all is going to start on the Hamilton Straight as you then run up towards Abbey at turn 1. Tough, fast-paced corner, especially in the wet. We can see drivers running wide up towards turn 2 at Farm Curve, and then into the hard braking zone at turn 3 for Village as well. Good passing opportunity early in the lap, but as you run through there, you're trying to get as much pace out of the corner as possible as you head up towards the loop at turn 4. Now, this is a little section where we'll probably see drivers trying to battle, but unlikely going to see battles really coming to fruition. It's more or less you sit right behind them and you run through turn 5. As then you run up the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands, down at turn 6. Another good passing opportunity, medium speed corner. You can make moves into this spot here. Then the run round towards Luffield at turn 7 and through Woodcote at turn 8 as well. 7, of course, you can try and get it on the inside, but because there's such a long hairpin, drivers will start to run around, and it's kind of based on how well as you'll run out of the corner. Then it's the run up over the old start-finish straight here of the old circuit up towards Copse at turn 9. Fast-paced corner. Probably the most memorable moment in history here is when Hamilton and Verstappen went side by side and Verstappen ended up in the wall on the exit. Then it's the long straight up towards Maggots and Beckett's for turn 10, 11, 12, and 13. This section here is one of the most famous in racing circuits in the world. The switchback section, of course, it's famous for being the inspiration for the initial S's at COTA as well. They wanted to recreate it as then the run round turn 14 at Chapel and the run up the Hanger Straight towards Stowe at the end of the straight there. Another good passing opportunity up at Stowe, but you're trying to maximise your run as you run down through Vale towards Club at the final few corners at 16, 17 and 18. It's a tough circuit to pass at because it's easy to defend. It is easy to attack, but it does lead to some good racing action across the piece as well. But mistakes are crucial across this lap tonight. If drivers make any mistakes, they're going to give up a lot of time, and Silverstone does not take any prisoners. It will come back to bite you if a mistake is made, Jim. And it's a track that it's not on the top of my list of circuits that I enjoy. I don't particularly like driving it, but it does create good racing viewing. So that's one positive I can give to Silverstone, is it often does give us good racing. Hopefully, it gives us more of that tonight in these wet conditions.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here. As you were doing the track map guide, by the way. Good job with that.
Tim Keen is in.
They got him in.
Tim Keen is in. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. We could certainly use the car. But then again, he's not on track, which is interesting. You'd think he'd want a few laps, but Yeah, I was sitting here watching the cars go around, and the spray is really starting to dissipate some. Obviously, looking at Culloden's car here, it does not appear that it is. My question is, and we have 3 drivers out there right now on dry tires.
Yeah. Jason Lepan, Lucia Tosi, and Donald Powell. So they're probably just trying to test limits to see if the dryers are going to work on the race start. The problem is, when it stops raining, it takes a good 2 hours for the rain to dissipate off the road and for the dry line to really start to form. I don't particularly think, by the look of that spray, I don't particularly think we're going to get a dry line tonight, Jim. That would probably take us a full grid to get a dry line, but there are some sections that are drying out.
Like,
Like
through there, yeah.
like through turn 3, 4, and 5, there is a bit less spray, but you can see there. And the problem with Silverstone is you've got to attack the curbs. You've got to try and attack the curbs as much as possible. But in the rain, you've got to avoid the curbs, like it's a bad smell on a train. You've got to try and move away from them as far as possible. So the issue with that is then you can't really get the most out of the car or the lap, because as soon as you ride on the curbs and on a painted line, the rear end's going to want to come round on you, and you could very easily end up in the wall. There's another issue as well tonight, Jim. An hour worth of racing, we could see some incidents happening there. You see it right there out at Cops. The issue is, if we have the unforeseen error of every driver crashing at least once, using their fast repair, and then crashing again, what's going to happen with the race?
Well, that's true, yeah.
Where are we going to sit?
One interesting thing that, that in itself is interesting right there.
That's a camera.
Not really sure what's happening there. All right. Well, as we can see, the water process happening here right in front of our very eyes.
Yeah.
So we are gridding up here. We'll talk about this after we get the grid and get them on their pace laps. We'll talk more about that.
Starting grid will be as follows. It'll be Carlos Ruiz starting ahead of Kenneth Culloden on the front row of the grid, with Mike Nitti Jr. starting ahead of Tim Keane. Daniel Nans will line up as the lone LMP2 car tonight ahead of the GTD Pro leader, Jacob Gruber, who's championship leader and starts on the pole ahead of Lucia Tosi and Avery Hart on the second row of the grid. John Weinreich, the Pro-Am, will out-qualify Donald Powell to get into the top 10. Liam Hubble, Jason Lepan then make up the 6th row, with Tashawn Green at the back end of the field. Chris Coy has not made the grid start for the moment, Jim. He didn't take part in qualifying. I have to wonder if Chris may not be racing at all this evening.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. By the way, he says, sorry, my bad. Oh, that's the name of his team. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see as they start to roll off.
We'll see. So formation lap about to begin.
Keene's not out there either.
No, he's not. He's in pit lane. He did grid up, but now he's back in pit lane. So is he maybe starting from the lane because he was in late?
Maybe. I mean, that'd be okay if that's what happened. Yeah,
or did he join the grid? He's on dries. I think he's on a dry setup. He joined the grid, realized he was on dry tires, and now he's got to try and change those to wets. He may have actually been better off, Jim, starting on the grid, rolling around on the dries, and then coming straight into pit lane and putting wet tires on.
Because
maybe. He's not going to be able to change the tires once the race starts. Lights are up, though, and the race is about to get underway as the GTPs will lead us across the start-finish line. The LMP2 of Daniel Nans will follow closely in behind them. They're already getting side by side down towards turn 1. And battling has commenced for the race lead here at Silverstone. The GTDs have gotten started in the background as well, as Jacob Gruber has gotten those cars started further back. So it's going to be a race of survival as Mike Nitti has gone round, and that there is the first case of cold tyres, wet track, and maybe not taking enough caution here on lap 1.
Yeah, I think we're going to see our fair share of that this evening.
So Tim Keane has entered the racing circuit. I have sent you a link, Jim. It's in the open chat where I always send it.
It's not there.
Yes, it is.
Never mind. Hi. I was off the air when I said
So,
that, so they didn't
so,
hear me, but now
so,
they do.
oh, well, that's fine. Just to give you the update, Tim Keane has exited pit lane. He's had to exit on dry tyres. He's going to have to come back in and put wets on that car because it is nowhere near dry enough at the moment to continue on those dry tyres. But in saying that, watching Kenneth Glodden run wide at Cops makes you think, well, maybe it's also too wet for wet tyres. I don't know. Maybe they need an oar out there, or possibly a sail, Jim, to get around this circuit at this point.
Yeah, possibly. It's going to be an interesting evening. I think. It's wet conditions, and these GTP cars are a bit on the tough side here. Let's check our link out.
Ruiz wants to run around the outside up the top of the hill, and he gets the job done. And now the run down towards Vale and in towards the final couple of corners at Club as well. So into the race lead he goes. The GTD is battling away hard as well. Here's Tim Keane on those wets. You watch him, he's having just to cross Maggots and Beckett's because he's got no grip on board this car. Because he's got to bring it into pit lane and get wet tyres on it. There he goes. But the problem is, Jim, he can't tow back because if he tows back, he'll automatically put dry tyres on. So he needs to make sure his wets are selected, get the car into pit lane, and put the wet tyres on it.
Yeah, this is a hot mess here. So first of all, I want to extend an apology to Lucia Tosi. We're four races into this season, and tonight's the first night that we've said her name correctly. It's the first night that we've identified her as a female. We did not know that, and we kept calling her Luca, and we got corrected last week. Not even corrected, really. We just found out. So I just want to apologize to her for that. And in the future, if we are mispronouncing your name, pop into chat and let us know, or come in after the race and tell us. Don't just let us say your name wrong all season. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to do that.
I know it's funny to blindly let us sit on our laurels and mispronounce your name,
right?
Or misgender you possibly. But we want to try and get all the details correct as much as we can. Tim Keane into pit lane now, though, so we'll watch him. Hopefully he selected wets, because if he hasn't, he's going to have to do another lap on the dries, and that'll be race over.
He did.
He did. Yeah, he did. Good. It's not race over just yet for Tim Keane. And I'd say, Jim, with the way that cautions are thrown, very likely going to see a safety car tonight. So that will bring Tim Keane back into this race, further into it, but he will be at the back of the GTD field. So he'll slowly get going now out of pit lane, as he's now on those wet tyres. So,
but are we going to see a caution tonight, a safety car?
Oh, I think based on off tracks alone, Jim, we may see one.
Yeah, but that's set for a field that is 40 plus cars. The amount of incidents that every car would have to get to reach that incident limit with 14 cars on the track would be astronomical.
I wouldn't put it past wet weather racing, Jim. I'll be honest with you. I think even with 5 cars, you could hit that number in an hour.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's going to happen before the halfway mark, but it could definitely happen before the end. We don't know.
Well, that's going to be interesting. We'll see. We shall see.
We shall see. The GTD's battling away as well. Jacob Gruber, for the pro class, is leading this race at the moment to Lucia Tosi and Avery Hart for the top 3. John Weinrich leads the way for the pro-ams at the moment, ahead of Liam Hubble and Jason Lepan. All 3 of those drivers, as long as they make them here this evening, to Sean Green, Donald Power battling away for pro class honours as well. Tim Keane is out there. Daniel Nans at the moment, the lone LMP2 car, Jim,
there he is
on the overall podium. He
Yes.
is on the overall podium with Mike Nitti after his spin, 12.5 seconds off the back of the CrowdStrike entry. So,
right.
You know, he's doing the work to bring the pride to the LMP2s, as Liam Hubble has had an incident. He's gotten it going again, though, further back in the field, and he'll try and keep himself going once again. Let's have a quick look here at what's happened to Liam within this field. So, just a spin out at Maggots and Beckett's, and around she went. Didn't hit the wall.
Ah,
But that's definitely a 2x loss of control.
yes. So we can start trying to count the X's ourselves, just make it
Well,
interesting.
based on SDK off-track timing, Jim, we're on 6. Tim Keen's on 3 off-tracks.
Yes.
LePan's on 1. Hubble's on 2. But I know that Kenneth Glodden traversed off-track
Yes.
at Cops earlier in the race. So that might have counted as a 1x.
Yeah, I don't think that accurately, which is why we don't normally use those numbers during our broadcast because it's not very accurate. There's a lot of things this software does great. That's probably not
that's one thing that it's not quite up there just yet. Lucia Tosi, though, what a race last week from her. What an effort as well. Amongst big, heavy hitters battling away for a podium. Now, she didn't make the podium.
No.
But she was P4 in an all-time battle and probably would have made the podium as well if not for outside circumstances because of the way that she was driving. So massive shout out to Lucia because that was a phenomenal effort at Sebring.
She did get hit.
She did get hit. Yeah.
Between turn 5 and 7 on the last lap, which obviously affected her pace some.
Yeah.
So yeah, who's to say what would have happened had she not gotten bumped on the final lap of the race there by another class car? Yeah, it would have been interesting to see. I would have loved to have seen how that would have shaken out without that outside interference, but it is what it is. But yeah,
Liam Hubble has traversed that Merc around again, and now he's I think he's just towed back to pit lane. Oh no, he hasn't. He was just blinking. So start calling him the eyelid, I think, Jim.
If you're gonna, might as well throw a little blinking in this evening as well. Hey, look, Tim just passed Carlos. He's back on the lead lap.
Oh, look at that. Onto the lead lap goes Tim Keen.
Yeah, I guess he is, right? Yeah,
he technically is, now. But he's got to do a full lap to get back up to the race leaders.
If there is a safety car, he's in good shape.
Well, he is. He's back on the lead lap. He doesn't need a wave around.
Now, this is going to be – I see Carlos is kind of pushing here. If you're Ruiz, do not push and try to race.
There's no point.
No, right.
There is no point. It's not for position. You might as well just let him go.
Ultimately, all you're going to do is end up wrecking yourself when you've got a pretty
solid lead.
Yes. So we'll see.
There's literally no point to chasing him down.
None whatsoever. But I do have to say, at least this is entertaining. We got two cars racing each other.
Or maybe that's his thought process. Just have a battle.
Maybe.
But you wouldn't want to throw away a race win.
No.
Especially when you got 3 seconds back to the next car. He's gone back past him again because he's given Tim blue flags again. But Tim has every right to unflag himself.
Yes.
He has every right to, get back. If he's faster, he has every right to unlap himself over the race leader.
I mean, if I'm Tim Keen, I absolutely want to be in front of. Oh, Keen just flew off the track, I think. No, maybe not.
Oh, no, he's still going. I think he just ran wide.
Yeah. The thing is, if I'm Keen, I absolutely want to be on the lead lap ahead of Carlos because in the event a safety car does come out, then I get to join back up at the back of the GTP cars, which puts me right back in contention to win this race.
Exactly.
So
instead of just getting a wave around and going to the end of the line, you jump all the GTs and LMP2 cars,
right,
and you're straight back up to the race. The race lead pretty much.
In fact, I would go as far as to say that if I'm in this situation right here, and I'm Tim Keen, I'm pushing as hard as I can to try to get past Carlos because I could still win this race.
What could he maybe be trying to strategize around that? Could he maybe be strategizing around?
I don't know. I'm not.
How can I pit stop this race to get it? Because realistically, they should only need one stop because they're going to do less laps in the wet than what they would in the dry.
Yes, and they're going.
And we've seen them do
slower.
2 stoppers all season. Yeah, exactly. So, like a regular. So to give the context to everyone else, so a regular dry stint for the GTPs is roughly 50 minutes. In the wet, it's around about an hour and 10 minutes because you gain extra time in the rain because you're doing less laps because you're at a slower pace. So for Tim Keane to give up these positions under blue flag, he doesn't need to necessarily. He's allowed to unlap himself by the iRacing rules. He's allowed to unlap himself as long as he doesn't cause an incident or a contact. So he's well within his rights to try and unlap himself from those cars ahead of him. But maybe he knows something we don't, Jim. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe he thinks.
Last week we threw so much speculation out there as to what was going on with him and his strategy, and it turns out it was none of the above. I'm not gonna read too much into it this week. I don't think.
Did we ever find out the secret of the source, though, Jim?
No, we didn't.
Oh, I was hoping we would have.
I know.
Every Hart has had a minor off track previously. That's now dropped him off the podium for the GTD Pro class. It's given the position to Sean Green. But he has still got Donald Powell behind him as well. So this could be an enticing battle throughout this race as we continue on. At this point, though, we're 12 minutes into proceedings with roughly 48 minutes to go here at Silverstone.
It's flying by.
Carlos Ruiz leading the way. It is flying by. And I suppose that's what happens when, you go racing at Silverstone. The racing eventually flies by as everyone battles away. So in terms of Sean Green and John Weinrich battling, Sean's now gotten that job done and gotten through up into the podium overalls for the GTDs across this field here tonight.
Yeah, I was just about to give John a shout out there. He's ahead of a couple of the pro cars, leading the Pro-Am class.
I'm at the front of the field. Aside from the race leader for the GTs, in Jacob Gruber, it's looking like Porsche Cup up there. So
it is looking like Porsche Cup up there.
As Tim Keane has found some traffic in the form of the GTDs. He's also got the LMP2 driver in Daniel Nans in behind him as well. So he's gotten past Jason Lepan and Liam Harbull in the overalls at this point. I suppose he could also get himself to the back of the GTP train, Jim, by actually just getting past all the GT cars. So when he does get his lap back, if a caution is thrown, he will still go to the end of the GTP train. So maybe that's his thought process is,
right,
well, I could pass all the GTD cars.
He won't get his lap back, though. It's not like NASCAR.
He will.
They don't give you a wave around and you make up a lap. He would have to be in front of the leader to get that lap back. It's not like NASCAR. In NASCAR, he'd be in the perfect situation.
Oh, no. I'm not claiming he'd get lucky, dog. I'm claiming that if he's a lap down on his own class leader, he should get a wave around to get back onto the lead lap. It'd be the same with GT cars that go a lap down on their race leader as well. But that's in the scenario that we actually get a safety car.
We'll sort that when
we're not
get
100%
there.
if we're going to. Yeah, we'll sort that when we get there. Jacob Gruber, though, has got a 2.9 second lead over Lucia Tosi as he's just run it wide down at Brooklands. Nearly put it off into the grass. Yeah, Lucia is looking good at the moment. 11.5 seconds back to Sean Green. So it seems Lucia may be the queen of rain racing here in the High Point Racing Series. As Carlos Ruiz, that's the fastest lap of the race, of course, a 2-minute dead, 0.25. As Tim Keane has just destroyed that car.
So much
and that might be race over already.
Well, that's not good.
How has he done this?
Last season's champion is having a rough couple of weeks here. Got out there on the paint, man.
Oh, he blinked. Oh, yeah, he got out on the paint and it just spun him straight in the wall.
Wow.
And that there is the first victim of slippery AstroTurf.
Thought you were fixing to say the Bon Jovi album, Slippery When Wet.
Well, Jim, that comes with obvious meanings because it's raining. Right. And when it is wet, it is slippery.
Indeed.
I suppose.
Who knew that Bon Jovi?
The AstroTurf.
Who knew that
the
Bon
AstroTurf
Jovi
must be a big fan of John Bon Jovi.
Yes. Well, who knew that Bon Jovi was such a race fan that he would name an album after that.
I know. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that that the
You
AstroTurf
struggling
is
here or
such
what?
a no. Who would have thought that the AstroTurf would have been such a big fan of "You Give Love a Bad Name," Jim?
Was You Give Love a Bad Name on Slippery When Wet? It probably was.
Yeah, well, when you run across the AstroTurf in the wet, you are really living on a prayer.
Oh, here we go. Boy, did I just set you? It's like I'm serving softballs to you this evening.
I am like a sleeper agent, Jim, and you said my code word.
Exactly.
You said blueberry pie. Yeah. I'm wanted dead or alive for all these puns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. Still going.
I'm just wild in the streets, Jim.
Did you pull up the album just so you could see the song names that were on it?
No comment.
Oh, that was a little before
Avery
your time,
Hart.
to be fair.
Oh, it was, but I grew up listening to Bon Jovi. It was only 13 years, but no, 12 years before I was born, Jim.
That's all. Just
So,
yeah.
actually, 12 years and 3 days.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah. Avery Hart and Sean Green, though, battle away here for P3 in the GTD Pro class as they come in towards Maggots and Beckett side by side.
Oh.
Avery takes P3 from Tashawn. Nearly run that car in a full slide through that corner. You saw him get a little bit loose as he carried the pace through there. But now up onto the podium goes Avery Hart as we right on board with Mike Nitti Jr. on the top screen as he looks to try and finally get back past Daniel Nans to get into the overall podium in this race.
Well, you know something I thought about? Daniel Nance has a huge advantage here tonight. Even though his car's not faster, there's one thing that an LMP2 car has that that a GTP does not.
Handling in the wet.
Traction control.
Hmm.
It has traction control. It doesn't have ABS.
It does.
So,
no.
You know, the fact that he's got traction control at his disposal this evening, although his steering wheel shows ones all the way across the board. That's interesting.
No. It's because it won't show because you're not in his car. It makes it the same for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Because it means that you can't steal any data off what they're running on the wheel.
Oh, okay. Is his gears correct, though?
His gears are correct, but everything else will be plain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought we had some brilliant insight there.
No.
So, yeah.
Because I've tried that before with open wheelers, and it doesn't give you anything.
But
so if you look at one of the GTPs, for example, actually we could just do this. Let's just compare.
Well, we're both. The problem is we've only got one.
You can see there on Carlos's car on his wheel, it's showing no data apart from his gear.
Yeah.
We can't see any of his data. So it actually, because we're not Carlos or we're not in his team as a spotter, we can't see any of his data on his screen. So it's a way of actually censoring the data so no one can steal any data from another driver in the session.
I'm sure that's probably been done.
It would have been at some point for sure. That's why they do it that's why they blur it in real life when they're in an onboard. They blur the data in real life. Yeah, that's why they don't have roll bar cams in GTP cars and GTDs. They have the dash cams. So the camera goes onto the dash and looks at the front window, so it doesn't show the steering wheel. And why they have the camera that looks back at the driver as well. It means they don't have to blur the data for every single driver in the field.
Well, Mike Nitti is closing the gap here a little bit on Culloden. I mean, it's still quite large, but he was closing it.
This might actually be, Jim. Oh, no, do you know what? I was going to say then this might be the only opportunity that another car manufacturer has. It's raining, but I was going to mention the fact that, it might be the first time a Porsche doesn't win.
There's no
but
other...
Carlos changed to a Porsche this season.
Yeah, Mike Nitty's the only one that's not a Porsche.
He's the only other driver not in a Porsche. And the only way we would get there are three ways.
Culloden
is also in a Porsche.
Yes, but when did he change?
this week, I would say. He raced in a Ferrari, I think,
Well,
previously.
Ferrari last season, and then this year he
Yeah,
switched to
it
the
was in the
Acura.
Acura. Yeah.
But apparently, he decided to join the
Porsche field.
German fan club there. Yeah.
He's joined the Porsche Cup gym, didn't you know?
So tell me what your thoughts are, since we have plenty of time to talk this evening. Tell me what your thoughts are on Porsche pulling out of prototype racing.
Disgusted, Jim. Absolutely disgusted.
I figured you were
I'll be honest with you.
I figured you were gonna have comments about that, and you and
Yeah.
I had
Why?
talked about
Why
it.
would you pull out after your most successful start, or after your most successful IMSA series to date? Why would you pull out?
I don't know. It's not only IMSA,
It doesn't make
though.
any sense to me.
They're
No, I
pulling.
know they do WEC,
Yeah,
but what? But they've had their most successful IMSA series to date.
sure.
WEC obviously is pretty Ferrari heavy at the moment, but still, why
Yeah, but
would you
that'll
pull
change.
out? Why would you pull out of prototype racing when your field is so strong in terms of Porsche races?
I don't know. The word on the street
I don't
is
understand
that
it.
it could only be it might only be for a year or two, and the word also on the street is there is a non-factory WEC team that runs Porsche that Penske may throw a car to and let them run two vehicles. That way, if there's two Porsches in the GTP field, that will allow Penske to run under their banner at Le Mans. So Penske could field cars at Le Mans.
That would make sense for Penske, because
Sure,
Penske,
he
there'd be
wants
no
Le
point for
Mans.
Penske to get rid of their cars.
Yeah.
It just means they wouldn't be Porsche backed anymore. They wouldn't
Right.
be the Porsche
I mean,
manufacturer
I don't know that
team
he's going to
anymore.
run every race without Porsche backing, but he certainly wants to run Le Mans. That's like the only.
I
that's
think
the only race
he'll
he
run-
hasn't won.
Yeah, he'll run Le Mans, and they may run Daytona. I think is maybe the only ones, but
But
what
for
it does,
him,
I mean, this would be like, Jim, if Toyota pulled out after 2020 in WEC.
right?
That would be the equivalent. If
Yeah.
if Toyota pulled backing for prototype racing after 2020, as Liam Habul has had another incident, he is really struggling in this Merc and in these wet conditions tonight. That is the fourth time that car has been off track, and the third time this race has been classified as having a crash as well. So he is really struggling out there. The race leader, though, Carlos Ruiz, is starting to catch up to the GTD race leaders of Lucia Tosi and Jacob Gruber as they battle away for race supremacy. Lucia has got some fantastic pace in that Porsche at the moment.
She's caught Gruber.
Yep, she has caught Gruber. So she's beginning to apply some pressure.
I guess it's Grube. There's no R at the end.
Well, no, it's a German name, Jim.
Is it so? It's still Gruber.
Yeah, it's Gruber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Jacob or is it Jakob?
Well, that depends on if he pronounces it Jakob or Jacob. I've claimed because he's running the US flag, he pronounces it Jacob.
That's probably a good point.
But the last name of Gruber is still German. So, Sean Green into pit lane. So there's been some early pit stops here from the GTD class. So whether they're coming in early because they know they can make it to the end from this point, or they're coming in early because they have to, and they're still going to have to do another pit stop, is still yet to be told in terms of this tail this evening. Gruber
No way.
and Tosi are still battling away for race lead supremacy in the GTD Pro class.
I can't see anybody having to make two stops in these conditions.
I would doubt it. I would doubt it very highly. I would just say this is the critical lap where they can get home from, or the critical minutes they can get home from.
I agree.
Throughout this race.
Yeah, because we're almost at the
I would
halfway
also, yeah, we are. I would also say, Jim, as well, that perhaps Porsche, just to get back to your point about them pulling out of prototype racing,
Yes.
maybe they're pulling out for the moment to put focus into actually preparing for the next next regulation change, or either Formula One or the next regulation change for prototypes.
Well, the rumor has it that for anybody who is a race fan in general, and we're just going to talk a little racing here while we're watching the racing on track action. Rumor has it that, well, not rumor has it that Formula One has definitely is embracing the idea of going ahead and adding the 12th team now, which the regulations already provided for, but they want it to be somebody who's going to actually.
They want it to be a manufacturer
yes,
team.
they want it to be somebody who's going to bring something to the series other than
Yeah,
just another team.
they
want
want it to be.
They want an engine manufacturer.
Yeah,
that's going to be involved. So there's a couple.
Which I think Cadillac will inevitably become an engine manufacturer.
Yeah,
they can't run Ferrari engines forever.
No, they are. They're building their facility. Their engine facility right now is being built in Charlotte, North Carolina, right next to and on.
And I have a feeling as well, Jim, that what it will mean is so once Cadillac become a engine supplier in Formula One, Haas will begin running Cadillac engines, and I think Haas will inevitably enter IMSA or WEC as a Cadillac team as well. They'll begin a partnership together.
That could happen. I didn't realize that Carl Haas has been around. He had G whatever it was called back then, prototypes, whatever the word for it was. He had
the GT when they were original GTPs back in the 80s and the 90s.
Even before that, he had cars racing in the 70s, in the that initial wave of prototypes that came kind of after the 60s Le Mans era. He had cars back then, all the way back then.
Wow.
He was So he's been around. I didn't realize he had been around that long. I thought he was a businessman that got into racing a little bit later. I didn't realize that he had been around since the 70s. But yeah, I was watching a documentary the other night on prototype racing and stuff, and it showed that they showed him as a young man, with cars in whatever the prototype racing was called back then. I don't remember, but yeah.
Well, as we can see as well, that Jacob Gruber is still leading the way for the GTD class. Mike Nitti Jr. running up on the podium at the moment here for the GTPs, just made his way past Avery Hart and now situates himself in behind and trying to catch up to Lucia Tosi at the moment, as the race leader has got Kenneth Culloden chasing him down, that being Jacob Gruber, the race leader for the GTD class as well. But this is now the toughest point of this race, I'd say, Jim, the middle point, where you start to get into that rhythm, and any small mistake or any little moment could start to crack the brain a little bit and start to crack the focus a little bit. And any loss of focus, because the track's actually getting wetter now as well. The rain has started to downpour again. This track's going to become very, very wet very, very shortly. And any small mistake, especially this one here from Donald Powell, who's just gone round. I think that's down at... It's down near Brooklands. No, it's at Cops. Cops Corner. Yeah, just before Cops. It's at Woodcote. Has just gone round. So there's opportunities now for mistakes to be made. And I think it's still anyone's race, technically, Jim.
Oh, I
because
agree.
From the mistake that we saw from Tim Keane earlier, any one of the drivers can make a mistake, especially with the track getting wetter now. This pretty much confirms we're never going to see dry tyre running this race.
No chance.
It was already on the knife's edge of if the track was ever actually going to be dry enough for dry tyres. It's definitely not going to now.
No.
So this is going to benefit those who are comfortable in the rain and who are comfortable driving at a slower speed in the rain, as Daniel Nance has gone off the road. The LMP2 driver has gone up at Vale and at the end of the hangar straight. What that could bring back on track now, though, Jim, is a bit of that debris. You mix some water with some of the gravel debris. That's going to become a very slippery section of road. Drivers going to have to be cautious of running that wide line up there. I'm surprised, though, there aren't more drivers trying to run the go-kart line, though, Jim. That's normally the go-to for wet racing, is you want to try and run the outside line instead of where the water's actually puddling on the inside of the corner. But maybe that's just me knowing a little bit more about wet weather racing than some drivers. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, you definitely, in my experience, it's better to get off of the standard racing line, especially under braking. Um, there seems to be more grip outside of the regular racing line.
Well, it's where the water won't pool, and it's where a line will inevitably come together as Ruiz is in for his pit stop to get this car home. So Kenneth Culloden will take the race lead momentarily until he decides to come into pit lane uh, very, very shortly here out at Silverstone. So we're halfway home though, Jim. 30 minutes or just under 30 minutes to go in this race. It's Carlos Ruiz's to lose at this point for the GTP class. It's Jacob Gruber's to lose for the GTD Pros, and it's John Weinrich's to lose for the GTD Pro-Ams as well, as the High Point IMSA Championship continues here with the second half here at Silverstone. But it was intense to begin with, but right now we know it's you're waiting for a car to make a mistake almost, Jim, and you know that it could come at any moment. Any little millimeter or inch that you're away from danger and disaster, and any small inch or millimeter off can lead to a massive moment for your car, and it could lead to you ending up in the tire barrier at some point.
Well, you talked about it earlier. You started to head down that road, and then I think something happened, and we kind of got off the subject. But this is a point in the race where like you said, you've settled in, you've kind of got a rhythm driving in this rain, and that's where your focus can shift a little bit or drift a little bit as you've been logging these laps, and all it takes is just the slightest momentary lapse of focus, and you catch a curb the wrong way or something, and off goes, you end up like Tim Keen's car did, and it can so easily happen in these situations. It's so tough to maintain that level of focus for an hour. People don't. You would think it doesn't sound that tough, but it is.
Oh, it really, really is. It really, really is just that tough. And that's sometimes the struggle for some drivers to understand of how tough it truly, truly is. So, but drivers having to settle into these conditions tonight. It's been tough conditions for them across the piece as well. As we see Kenneth Culloden and Mike Nitti into pit lane. So Ruiz will take back the lead of the race once he traverses past pit lane. And then he will be 26 and a half minutes away from a race win here at Silverstone tonight.
So
and when you know who may win the pony this evening.
Right? Shocking. Could be offering pony rides, Pet My Pony and pony rides next week.
We could.
I'm curious here. I'm looking at Avery Hart. So Avery is roughly 51 seconds behind Tosi, and then that would make roughly 53 seconds behind Gruber. And of course, he's pitted already. So the question is, he's probably going to inherit the lead when they pit.
For Avery. Or for Deshawn, because Deshawn pitted earlier, and Avery's actually stayed ahead of him by 3.5 seconds.
Right. Well, I'm saying Avery will take the lead from Gruber and Tosi.
Well, no, because he's already pitted. He's already pitted in this race, and it's a 50-second time loss in pit lanes. They should actually exit pit lane about 3 seconds ahead of him.
No, well, nobody else has exited pit lane Avery Hart did it in 1:01. Daniel Nans did it in 1:05. Carlos
but you got to remember though,
6.
Jim, the pit lane traverse time is not the time you actually lose in pit lane, because you're stationary for a portion of that time, and the other portion you're still driving.
Well, I mean, okay, that's true.
You aren't stationary for a minute. You're only stationary for 20 seconds.
No, I got that.
Which is enough to cover tires and fuel. So the way that you figure out how much time you lose in pit lane, it is your pit lane traversal time minus your pit stop time, and then it's probably plus 5 seconds or so. So with it being a minute for Avery, for example, with it being a minute and a minute and 1 second in his pit lane travel with a 22-second pit stop, that makes it roughly 38 seconds. You got to probably add about 15 seconds or so to that time of what you've actually lost because of how much time you'd actually lose going at only 80 or 60 or 40 kilometers an hour, whatever the pit lane travel time is, or whatever the speed limit is. Normally, when it's a slower pit lane travel time, it's obviously a slower pit lane speed limit. So if it's 40 kilometers an hour, which is roughly 20 miles an hour, something like that.
Yeah, it'd be faster than that, obviously.
Yeah. So that then makes it a lot slower. So we could roughly estimate it's about a 45 to 50-second loss in pit lane. So no matter what, he's not going to get past them when they come out of pits, but they're going to probably be about 4 to 5 seconds ahead of him when they finish their pit stops, I would say. And the longer that they go on, the less fuel they're going to need. So, that's another point to put forward as well. The question is, though, does Lucia Tosi come in early, take her pit stop, and try and undercut Avery Hart? Oh, not Avery Hart, Jacob Gruber. Does she maybe attempt that? She's only 1.3 seconds back, so that's a good enough difference for an undercut here. But if she can't go at full pace on cold tyres out of pit lane, then the undercut's not really going to work for her. So we'll see how it plays out. It may be better actually going longer.
You shouldn't have to change tires.
You shouldn't have to, but it will give you good grip. But your tyres are still going to cool down when you exit pit lane.
Yeah, but
as Kenneth Gordon has just crashed, and has just put that car back into pit lane here. Let's quickly look back at this and what's happened with him. Oh, it's the same thing that Tim Keen did. The exact same thing that Tim Keen did.
Yeah, the difference was he ran into the inside wall, which was a heck of a lot closer than Tim Keen had.
That's what Tim did.
Oh,
Tim hit the inside wall as well.
Oh, okay.
No. Both of them came off the AstroTurf, caught a puddle, and it shot them to the right across into the wall on the inside of the corner.
Well, back to the discussion we were having. The question is, I don't see why you would change tires. Here she comes, by the way. You stay on.
We see her in.
You stay on Gruber or Hart.
You might as well stay on your tires because you are going to give up time.
Right.
It's whether the tires can be done with the fuel you're putting in the car. That's the difference maker.
I don't think that it can be. But
well, I've noticed as well, Mike Ninney Jr. took a minute-long pit stop. So I think he actually took tyres in the GTP class.
He may have. But again, the GTP class is a little more open. There's huge gaps in between each of the competitors there.
That's true.
To some degree.
As Daniel Nans has just gotten himself a slowdown. So
she is not taking tyres, for sure.
No. She's only taking fuel. So Avery Hart is just coming round towards Vale. And Lucia Tosi with a 17-second stop, so less fuel needed on board that car.
Wow, okay.
Very likely did the math. Of course, the hardest part about timed races is figuring out what is the fuel numbers going to be to the end. And with the track getting wetter, the lap times are getting slower. So, in fact, you need less fuel.
Yes.
So going longer has probably actually helped Lucy comparatively to Avery Hart. And she's gained a good 5 seconds across that pit stop. You notice the gap, though, Jim? 21.5 seconds between Lucia and Avery. The gap previously was 53 seconds.
She took a really short stop, though.
It was a really short stop. So if we do the quick maths, as Carlos has just gotten himself a slowdown after going off the track. If we do the very, very quick maths, so it was 53 seconds before she pitted. She lost 22 seconds to Jacob Gruber in pit lane. She gained roughly 15 seconds on Avery Hart by taking a 5-second shorter pit stop. So,
well, now I want to see what happens with Gruber here because they were running 1.5 to 2 seconds apart when she pitted. So that's going to give us a real indication of what's going on.
And what's the actual stop time going to be for Jacob?
And he's in.
As he's into pit lane. So Jacob Gruber in. Lucia Tosi is just coming through maggots and to her when she was in pit
You had a
lane.
massive
Jacobs.
cutout there on your mic, like for like
Oh,
2 or 3
sorry.
seconds. Yeah. So repeat whatever
I'm
you
sorry.
said, please.
I just said that Lucia is a lot closer than what Avery Hart was comparatively when she came into pit lane. So Jacob is just entering the box now. Carlos is back in pit lane with a black flag. Jacob Gruber's also gotten a black flag too for speeding into pit lane.
No.
So Lucia Tosi is going to take the race lead for the GTD Pro class here in an all-time battle. And Ruiz has got to serve a stop hold for not serving a slowdown.
Oh, my goodness. Is that what it is, or is it?
Yep, he got it. He got it for not serving a slowdown because he got a slowdown earlier in the lap. So that's why he's back in pit lane.
So he's lost the lead now to Nitty.
That has now given the race lead to Mike Nitty Jr. After all of this, this could see a Cadillac finally win a race in the GTP class. The only non-Porsche in the GTPs. Daniel Nans is out of the race as well, Jim.
Oh, my goodness.
Daniel Nans is out in the LMP2 class. He has dropped out.
Well,
so Jacob Gruber,
but he
won't get points
if he doesn't finish, right?
No, I don't think he will, no. But it doesn't matter. I mean, there's no other cars that can gain points on him, so it's still a null and void race.
Well, that's true.
But Jacob Gruber has come for the GTDs, and he has come out behind the Pro-Am leader of John Weinrich. So it's now promoted Avery Hart and Tashawn Green onto the...
Lucia is in overall podium 3rd place.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's watch this pit entry
Tim
here.
Keane is trolling us from the YouTube chat, just so you know.
Yes, of course.
Dirty dog.
So let's watch Jacob Gruber enter pit lane. Oh, I didn't want to stop it there. I wanted to slow it down. Yeah, no, nowhere near. Nowhere near slowed down enough, Jim.
Wow.
He was still on the brakes. He actually locked it up as he came in. He was nowhere near.
Speaking of Mike Nitty Jr., there he is coming up behind Lucia right now. So you got 1st and 3rd place overall right here coming together. How far is Carlos behind now? 25
seconds.
I mean,
so he not only served his stop hold, he actually did a pit stop in that he didn't clear all. If he'd cleared all, he would still be in the race lead. And he's just gotten himself another off track as well, which is another slowdown. He's been sure to serve that, Jim. I'm quite positive.
Yeah, I bet.
I think he learned that one pretty clear. Ken Culloden's also out of this race as well. Liam Habul is out. Chris Coy never got started. So there are 4 non-finishers at the moment of Culloden, Keane for the GTPs, Habul for the GTD Pro-Ams, and then Daniel Nans, the LMP2 driver, is also out of this race as well. So we are down to 9 left in this race with 15 and a half minutes left to run. Mike Nitty Jr. leads the way to Carlos Ruiz. Lucia Tosi is the leader of the GTD class and the Pro class and on the podium overall in P3. We're guaranteed to get a GT car on the podium tonight, P2, and the other GTP cars out of this race.
Yeah.
As Reese just gotten another slowdown.
He's trying to bring out a safety car all on his own.
I think so. I think he is trying to get an off track everywhere he can. But the problem with that is, Jim, he'll get to the incident limit and then he'll get another stop hold.
No, I know. I was kidding. Obviously, it was a joke. But, John Weinrich there hanging it out a little bit in that Porsche. So that's
Tim
Gruber.
Keane saying we should still get points. I
Yeah.
mean, we started and completed a lap, so P4 is P4. I don't think so. Actually, I don't think you should get points. I think you need to make 75% personally.
At least 50.
That's just my feelings. You got to at least make 50% of the race. That's my thought process. Is you've got to make it to half an hour to be classified. Real life, they wouldn't classify you if you've only finished one lap.
The league has an extensive rule book, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 plus pages. So I would strongly suggest that maybe Mr. Keene, while he's sitting there trolling us in YouTube chat, pull up the rule book there and figure out if he's going to get points or not. And he can let us know, since he's having fun trolling us there from his recliner while we're busy working here.
Oh, Carlos has just gone off the road again, and in fact, he's far off the road and into the sand trap. So it appears that the House of Cards has fallen for Carlos Ruiz at this point of the race. And what it will mean is Mike Nitti Jr. needs to drive the safest race possible for the next 13 minutes, Jim, to claim the only win in Cadillac's history since we've started calling races here. Every race has been won by Porsche to this point.
Right.
We've never had a non-Porsche win a race. Not just in the overalls, but in the GTPs. If, in fact,
wouldn't
somehow...
it be funny if everybody struggled so bad that Lucia wins the race?
I was about to say that Lucia wins, we could still make the claim that Porsche still win. And that's the point I was about to make was, if Mike somehow has a struggle and destroys that car,
right,
it means one of two things. It's either going to be Carlos that'll win, or it'll be Lucia, Avery to Sean that will win. And we'll still get a Porsche winner at the end of the race.
No, that would be funny.
That would be a funny little stat for us to have for the future. If Porsche were to still keep their win record going by having a GT car win.
There goes Nitti!
Nitty's gone round! We call it into succession. We call it into fruition. Mike has now gone round. He's got 52 seconds, though, over Carlos Ruiz, so he's got time to make mistakes like that. But those sorts of mistakes, that's a wake-up call, Jim, with 12 minutes to go. You don't want to be making mistakes like that, because that could have ended the race very quickly there for Mike Nitti.
Yes, very quickly. I was sitting here looking at Jason LePan apparently recently had an incident as well.
He did indeed. He's going again in the Aston Martin. As Ruiz is back in pit lane. So I think has he hit the incident limit? Has he hit the incident limit? That's the question.
He would have a black flag, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, he would. So he's just in. I don't know why, but he's in.
Maybe he decided to come get tires.
I don't know.
Well, to be fair,
I was like, I no idea.
To be fair, he at this point, he's had it. Who knows? I mean, maybe he's picked up damage from all those off tracks.
Maybe he did.
And he's like, well, it's better at this point for me to go ahead and fix it. Or is he stopping?
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, he's stopping.
Yeah, he stopped. Okay.
No, he is. He's stopped.
Well, maybe he needed a potty break. Who knows?
Maybe he did. Maybe he thought, well, I go to the bathroom, go get a chicken sandwich, maybe, something like that. He's made it past the halfway point. I'd claim he should get points for P2.
Right. Well, he won't finish P2.
Well, I mean P2 in class.
Yes, but is that how they award points? Is it by class or is it by overall position?
No, I would say, actually, no, it would be surely it'd be by class, but the GTs should get scored on an overall because they're GTs,
right.
But still. That's up to the league management on how that works.
Right.
So Lucia Tosi with Carlos Ruiz in pit lane.
Why are we both showing her?
It's such an amazing feat by Lucia because she could go onto the overall podium into P2 if Carlos remains in pit lane.
Right.
And it'll mean that there's one GTP car left in the field. It'll be the only car on the lead lap, which will be Mike Nitti Jr. Carlos is now exiting pit lane, Carlos is coming out. So I don't know why he was in there for another minute and 14 seconds. He didn't have a black flag.
I don't know.
It's It's a bold strategy. We'll see if it pays off for him. But
I
he's
was
now
going to
lost a
say,
lap
we,
to the race leader.
want to pull him in and ask him?
I mean, we could.
Probably not the best idea. I like broadcasting this series. I don't want to get fired from it just because.
No, we're asking a clerical question, Jim. We're asking for clarification.
We are. So how far he is now just ahead of Lucia. She's literally, is that right? 2 seconds behind Carlos?
Yeah. Yeah, she would be. Yeah, she is. She's right there, right behind him.
All right.
So
Cue
2 seconds.
Cue
is
the
the
Jaws
gap.
music.
Yeah, done. Lucia is chasing you down, Carlos. We'll see if you
I am
can
just
run away.
nothing against Carlos,
Oh,
but
he's going round!
Oh,
He's
she
gone
goes.
round on the old Grand Prix straight, and Lucia Tosi is going to pass him for genuine position onto P2 on the road.
I almost want to take the camera off of her. I mean, she's clearly the story. She's clearly the story of the race so far. And,
Oh, yeah.
But I want to
Oh,
take the
yeah.
camera off of her because I don't want a commentator jinx her at all. Because
I don't know if we can.
well,
I think she's too strong.
well, let's don't do that. Let's don't say things like that.
But Lucia Tosi
Oh my gosh.
is P2 overall. If Mike Nitti Jr. gets a meatball flag,
I know.
she will lead the race on the overalls. Now, she has got Carlos chasing her down at 4.5 seconds is the gap, and
Yeah,
he will get her
Oh, he'll catch her.
at some point
No,
with 7.5 minutes to go, barring a mistake. But still, it's an all-time moment to have Lucia
look,
on the podium.
No offense to anyone, and but I absolutely hope that something happens and she wins this race outright. That would be the most epic thing ever. And Porsche would continue winning every race.
They would continue winning every single race on an overall level. Now, they're going to lose their GTP win record. That's fine. But the overall win record,
I mean, if something happened to Nitti, in theory, they might not even lose that because Carlos is right there.
That's true.
So for her to win the race outright, Carlos would have to be, pretty close to her unless he bend it.
Well, he nearly did before. So he'll be hoping and praying and fingers crossed that does not happen.
What's really crazy about this is Carlos is an excellent rain driver. I mean,
yeah, I'm quite put off by it. I'm quite taken aback by it.
He really is. He is a phenomenal
because
rain driver.
he qualified that car on pole with great pace, and during the race, it just you wouldn't have guessed because of the mistakes that have been made, and it's just quite interesting how that can play out across a race.
I mean, I think if anything, he's off again.
Oh, he's off again.
He's going to hit the
goes
wall.
Carlos.
I think he's just pushing too hard.
Donald Powell's also been off the road as well. Yeah, I think he is.
I think he's just pushing too hard. I really do. I don't think it's, I mean, but I will say this. For the conditions to be tough enough that Carlos is struggling like that, as good of a rain driver as he is, because he is a really good rain driver. I mean, in fact, I would go as far as to say he may have won every rain race just about that I've ever seen him run in. He's certainly always right up there. So for him to be struggling like this, these conditions have to be brutal out there.
I mean, they are. I mean, look at the puddling of water. Look at how slick some of these curbs are, and the painted lines, and the AstroTurf as well on the outside of the circuit. It is a dangerous place to be racing in the wet, and it's one that is a massive test. I mean, these drivers have been put to the sword tonight to try and survive. We've got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes of survival for these drivers to get to the checkered flag, and it's anyone's to make a mistake and to lose out tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, again, any point in time here, one mistake, and you bend it into the wall, and the results completely flip-flop. I mean, it's, So, by the way, do you know where AstroTurf got its name from? interesting.
Space.
No, sort of, but not really. So the Dome Stadium that was built here in Houston was, if I'm not mistaken, the first sports domed stadium built anywhere, and it's called the Astrodome because the team was called the Astros. Because of the Houston space program is based out, the space program is based out of Houston. So the turf is called AstroTurf because it was invented for that stadium.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep, the Astrodome, and which the Astrodome has been closed down now for many years, but it's still sitting there. And they have been arguing back and forth about what they were going to do with it. Were they going to tear it down? Because it sits right next to the new football stadium for the Houston team. But it looks like they're even considering turning it into a casino.
Well, I was going to say the Astrodome should probably be historically listed, Jim.
Yeah, well,
based on the fact that it hosted WrestleMania 17, where Stone Cold Steve Austin famously turned heel by aligning himself with Vince McMahon. So that is the sole and for the hardcore triple threat match from
Carlos
WrestleMania 17
just
as well.
got by Lucia.
Well, that's that dream done, and
yeah,
and it lets her back pass into P2. So, but yes, plenty of running has been done in this race. Plenty of wet weather racing has been done. So I think we've got our whole season's worth of wet weather racing in this race, Jim. I'll be honest with you.
I think there's one more on the schedule. We could probably just go ahead and remove that from the schedule.
Yeah, I think so, because from the amount of water we've had tonight, we've had a whole chasms.
To Sean Green, about to put a move on Avery here.
Yep, battling away. These guys have been going at it for the last few laps. This has really been starting to build. Oh, Deshaun getting loose off the second to last corner. And this looks to be a final few lap battles for the ages, as Deshaun and Avery will battle for P2 in the GTD class here tonight. Mike Nitti Jr. is coming up towards Maggots and Beckett's. He will cop the white flag when he crosses the lap. Crosses the strike. It'll be one to go here at Silverstone when Mike crosses the line.
I see what you did there.
Thank you very much.
He will cop the white flag.
Yeah, because he came through cops.
Exactly. I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, I'd like to claim that I'm a genius, Jim. It was a complete mistake, I'll be honest with you. That was my complete accident. I'll be honest with you, Jim. I know I'm normally pretty good in terms of just coming up with some, but
that is awesome.
Oh, that was just subconscious. That was subconscious at that point. It just came out of me. But Mike Nitti Jr. will get the white flag. It'll be one to go here at Silverstone.
Tell you what, you take over
he
this
comes
GTP
up towards the
battle.
strike.
The GTD battle.
Hang on, he's not getting the last. Hang on, he's not getting the white flag. What the hell?
Well, it's going to be
he's
checkered.
not been handed the white flag. He'll get the checkered because it's
over. But
we've got a minute left.
Yeah, let's flip flop it, and I'll take the leader, and you take the GTD battle. There you go. Because
and at this point of the race as well, he can't lose. No, he can't lose this race either because he's over 3 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
Of
correct.
The race of P2 and Carlos Ruiz. So Mike Nitti will break the streak of Porsche. It has taken them a season and 3 races for us to get a different GTP car on the top step of the podium. Famously, it's probably coming from one of the most popular GTP cars in the history of iRacing. A lot of drivers have raced the Cadillac from time to time, purely based on engine sound the majority of the time as well. But it was the strongest GTP car for a fair period prior to the Ferrari joining the fray, and they actually fixed the BMW eventually too.
Yep.
One more lap to go as well for the GTD cars as Deshaun Green and Avery Hart cross the strike and they continue to battle away for P2 in class. Lucia Tosi, 18.2 seconds ahead, is in a very dominant position at the moment and will finish on the overall podium if she remains where she is. Mike Nitti Jr. and Cadillac, though, this will be a win to remember for them as he comes down the hanger straight towards Vale at the top of the hill. It will completely strike out our curse and statistic of Porsche winning every
I
single
have to
race.
say, I'm glad
It's
to hear you
taken-
shut up about that.
Well, it's taken some significant weather conditions tonight. I can still claim that they've won every dry race, Jim.
Well,
As we come around the final few corners in the wettest of conditions, Mike Nitti Jr. has survived them all to take his first win in the High Point Racing IMSA Championship, and the first for Cadillac as well. Carlos Ruiz will come home in P2, and Lucia Tosi, with only Maggots and Beckett's and Hanger Straight and Vale and Club to go, will look to honours for the GTD class here tonight. As to Sean Green has just lost it off of Cop's corner. He's been arrested by the puddle down there and put him straight into the grass as well. What a shame for Tashawn. He was battling hard. He's still on the podium, though.
Yeah.
And he'll finish on the podium.
Yeah, he's still
this
34
class.
seconds ahead of Gruber.
And up towards Club Corner comes Lucia Tosi.
That speeding penalty killed Gruber. But let's give Lucia her moment here.
Lucia has done exceptionally well. Consistent and clean across the piece. And around the corner she comes and takes the win for the GTD class and will finish on the overall podium here tonight as well. Avery Hart will look to come home in P2 for the GTD Pro class. We await John Weinrich to cross the strike. He's just coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Is that what you want though, Jim? GTP may not have gone the way of Porsche. It's going to go the way of GTs, though.
Indeed.
Because Lucia won, and John Weinrich is about to win as well, because
well, that's different.
Jason LePan has already finished his race.
Oh, man. Tashawn, did he make it? No, he's going to back it across the line. Well,
he's actually got a black flag, so that'll take him off the podium.
Oh, it will.
He got a black flag. That'll take him off the podium. That'll give it to Jacob Gruber, and he'll probably finish... actually, no, he won't finish behind Donald Power, but he will finish behind Jacob Gruber. So, John Weinrich,
wait a minute. If he keeps doing this,
across the line...
Couldn't he get DQ'd?
No, he won't get DQ'd. The race is finished. John Weinrich has taken home the Pro-Am honours here tonight as well. So 2 from 3 for Porsche. But the most overall race win record is gone. Overall race win record in dry conditions is alive and well.
Let's go ahead and give him some full screen loving for this, since he's doing a hell of a job at it, actually.
I wonder, Jim, if he's put his arm over the rig and is looking behind the rig while he reverses.
I'm doubting it, These modern kids today, y'all don't know what it was like to drive without backup cameras.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if he's looking at the rear view mirror or the rear window, in fact.
No.
Of this car as he drives it around.
You young folks, all you know is to look at the backup camera. You don't even know. Look, he's going to wreck it.
My car doesn't even have a backup camera, Jim. I have to use my mirrors.
Oh, well. Well, you're Australian. Y'all are like 20 years behind the times when it comes to cars. It's sort of like going to Cuba. Oh, nothing to say to that at all?
I've never been to Cuba, Jim.
No, well, they're like 70 years behind. All the cars in Cuba are like 1950s. Everything there, most of the cars there are from the era before the United States cut them off after the whole Cuban Missile Crisis thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, actually, the race results are up. I was waiting on him to finish, but he's going to do a whole lap like this, I guess. So we'll just leave it on in the background as we go over the results here. Let's do the results.
Well, the results are as follows. Mike Nitti Jr. wins the race by a full lap over Carlos Ruiz. Lucia Tosi wins it for the GTD Pros ahead of Avery Hart and Jacob Gruber. John Weinrich wins it for the Pro-Ams ahead of Tashawn Green, Donald Powell in the Pro class behind him, and then Jason LePan 3 laps down. Already finished his race. Our non-finishers here tonight: Daniel Nans in the LMP2 class, Kenneth Glodden, Liam Hubble, and Tim Keane. Chris Coy never got the race started in the end. Can Daniel Nans claim that he won LMP2, Jim? He didn't even make the checkered flag.
No. I mean, he's not going to get points for it, or I don't think. But what I
Well,
want
according
to
to
do
someone in the
is
chat, yes, they would get points, but
no. That's Tim being Tim. What I want to know is where is Lucia?
yeah, we need to see Lucia.
We absolutely somebody has got to get Lucia in here. Is she in any of these chat rooms at all?
Not that I can see.
Lucia, if you have this broadcast on, please come join the interview room. You absolutely deserve to be interviewed. We have
I
butchered your
promise you,
name.
Jim. I promise you, Jim speaks Spanish. If that's a reason to not join us,
I don't, but we'll find Daniel Pino and bring him in here to translate or something. We'll get it done. Where is
we get
Pino when
Carlos
you
to
need him?
translate for us.
Yeah, Carlos can. He speaks fluent Spanish. Actually, he really does. But if she's out there listening, please come get your your what's the word I'm looking for? But anyway, yeah.
Your flowers, your
No,
notoriety.
yeah, well, no, notoriety is not exactly the right word, but come get your due. We've butchered your name all season. We even misgendered you for the whole season, and then you bring it home in third place overall. Come visit with us. You deserve it. So let's see who you want to pull in. Let's
Well,
pull. Let's pull in Nitty. Rob, let's just go ahead and do it because he deserves it. It's we got lots to talk about here.
So, who are we going to pull in first? Are we going to pull in John, or are we going to pull in Daniel or
No,
Mike?
pull
Or
in Nitty. Pull in Mike Nitty
okay,
first. Let's do it.
all right, the overall race leader.
Yeah.
Mike, congratulations. We have just cut you off from your conversation. Your first race win in the series, and you've broken the streak of Porsche winning every single race from GTPs. But I have officially put a caveat on that though, not to
There's
take
no
anything away from your win
caveats.
tonight. Porsche is still undefeated in dry races though.
Stop it. Nobody wants to
So
hear
you've
that.
got to win next week. You got to win next week at Watkins to really break the streak. But no, you have broken their streak. You've gotten yourself a race win though as well. Tough conditions out there, but in the rain, very very slippery tonight. Obviously, a lot of mistakes from drivers, even one from yourself. But in the end, do you think? I mean, because we noticed on the timing, like Carlos really threw it away when he got a stop hold, and then he came into pit lane about another two times after that. Um, do you think it just really came down to consistency tonight that really got you the race win?
A little bit. Well, the first thing I want to say is I want to apologize to Kenneth. I'm going to own that one getting on the pit road. 100% my fault. And then I know he disconnected after that, so I don't know if he had an extra penalty because he hit 20x and then he had the speeding on pit road. But want to apologize for him. I'm going to own that one. But yeah, I had that first lap fiasco where I looped it, but then I was maintaining a 20 to 24 second gap, at least to Carlos. And I just kept trying to be consistent and have no off tracks and just be able to, if there was an issue at the end of the race, because I knew the rain was coming based on the forecast. And I know in practice, I was the fastest car in the rain. So, I had Carlos not had that issue, I think I would have possibly driven back up to him anyway. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I tried to be as consistent as possible. And hey, we all make mistakes, but not too bad for an oval racer, right?
No, not too
I
bad
mean,
at all.
you took the left turns pretty well. It was ironically the right turn that saw you spin. So I mean,
Yes.
that worked out fairly well for you. Watkins Glen next week, obviously a famous sports car racing circuit. How are you feeling going into that one?
Typically pretty well. That's a good track for me. Been there in person. Really enjoy it. But this is my first season with the GTP, so there's always going to be learning curves, and this car doesn't have ABS like the GT3 did last season, and there's going to be a learning curve. So I don't get a lot of time to practice during the week. Most of the races, whatever the practice is before the race, is all I get, and or even just qualifying laps, depending on what time the kids go to bed. So I know the track well, and I'm learning the GTP pretty quickly, I feel like. So yeah, hopefully things go well next week. I'm excited.
Well, we look forward to seeing how you go next week out at Watkins Glen. Mike, congratulations on your race win. Let us know anyone else, or let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to. Anyone who may be watching out at home, or any friends or family, whoever it may be. Myself and Jim, congrats on the first win, and best of luck next week out at Watkins Glen.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, just obviously thank the wife for letting me do this, and yeah, and again, I apologize to Kenneth. That one's 100% on me.
Well, Mike Nitty, our race winner here this evening, overall and in the GTP class as well. Next up, we're going to drag him in anyway because he was the only LMP2 car out on track tonight. He's the championship leader, Daniel Nans. And the first question I'm going to ask Daniel is, Daniel, can you even claim that as a race win?
He's not
Mr.
even
Nans?
he's not even going to justify
He's not
that
even
with
gonna
a
answer.
comment. No, he's not even
No.
he's not even going to justify that with a comment.
Sorry, you had me join a little late there.
Daniel,
Mid-sentence.
can you even count that as a race win?
Not really when I'm the only guy in it.
And you didn't make the check it either.
Well, because I went into the pits because I already won.
It's true. It's true. And I mean, it is slightly disappointing because the LMP2 car is fantastic and it gets really good racing. But the fact that we're not getting the numbers that it deserves, it deserves the numbers. It's the same as the GT4 class in the GT Challenge Series. It deserves the numbers for drivers to go racing, but we're not getting them, unfortunately. But I mean, me and Jim want to see it. Both me and Jim love the LMP2 car.
Love
We
it.
know that you love the LMP2 car as well. Like Daniel, do you think tonight, if there was maybe at least five to, no, actually, no, I'd claim 8 to 10 LMP2s, how good that battle could have been across this race in these wet conditions?
I don't really know. Like, this car is really easy and really fun to drive in the wet, but like wet racing with these kind of cars is definitely not that fun when you have to worry about competitors very much, like more than just 2 or 3.
Yeah, but that's endurance racing in general. That's sports car racing. I mean, how many races during the year are rain factors in? That's just part of this kind of racing. No.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is. Although I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a wet IMSA race in particular.
Oh, come on now. Really?
I've watched as much IMSA as I could this year. I missed a couple of races.
Watkins Glen. That's where they.
Oh yeah, Watkins.
Where
That's
the
right. Watkins
windshield
was wet.
flew out of the car. You remember?
That's right. It was the safety car fest.
Yes.
Yes, I remember now. Watkins was the safety car fest.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
I was there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, it was definitely something.
Did you get the windscreen?
Yeah. No. Right.
No.
That was pretty cool. That was an LMP2 car, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
There was definitely quite a few cars caught up in that wreck.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, just again, I think that is sports car racing in general. I hate the fact that we didn't get a bigger turnout tonight, and no doubt it had a lot to do with rain. But the thing is, there's a lot of people missing from this race who are good rain drivers. Daniel Pino is a good rain driver. I can't tell you how many endurance races I've watched him run in the rain, But I don't know. Just that's unfortunate. This would have been a very entertaining race with a nice full field.
I think it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
at least for the majority of the piece,
well, that's
obviously,
because
there were still entertaining moments.
That's because of the fantastic commentating and the creativity of the broadcasters that really. I'm sure that's it. But anyway, Daniel,
I'm sure
we'll congratulate you on your first place victory tonight, even though you completed how many laps did you end up running?
Like 16.
Oh, okay. Well, you did all right then. So, no, congratulations, and congratulations on the season in general. You're having a good season. I really just wish there was some more LMP2 cars out there for you to have a little more competition because it's a great car and it truly is not getting the love it deserves. It's a good car to drive.
Yeah.
It's a great car to learn how to transition from GT3s up to prototypes. This car does not need to be skipped. It needs to be raced.
Yeah, it's definitely a car that is so underrated in the iRacing community.
Absolutely.
And it's just like a much better car to race than the GTP until the tires warm up, because the LMP2, it only needs like one lap to get the tires warmed up, and then the GTP, it's basically undrivable until like the
Yeah, right. To like
second or third
lap,
lap.
yeah, like lap 3, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations, man. More so on the season as opposed to tonight. But again, like I said, I just wish that some guys would embrace these LMP2s and come race them. They're really missing the boat on what a great car. This is arguably one of the funnest cars to drive in all of iRacing. Certainly one of the funnest to drive when it comes to sports cars, for sure. So,
Yeah.
congratulations, and I'm sure that we'll be talking to you again soon.
Thanks.
All right, man.
Daniel Nan's our LMP2 race winner here this evening. Next up, we have our GTD Pro-Am winner in John Weinrich. He's also the now championship leader of the GTD Pro-Am class as well. John, congratulations. Race win in the wettest of conditions in the GTD Pro-Am class. Talk us through your race. Talk us through what it was like racing around with a little bit of moisture on the road here at Silverstone.
Yeah, like I said last week, I was going to finish second to last, and that's what I did.
Still won though, John. You still won.
I wish there was more people. I really do. I mean, I did a lot of practicing coming up for today, and I learned during my practice is don't start this race with dry tire, and so I started in the wet, tried to keep it cool by sticking in the puddles, but it did good. I didn't have any spins. It was a good clean race. I definitely enjoyed it.
Did you change tires when you pitted?
Nope, did not. I started with wet and I stayed with wet.
And did they? I mean, they still had plenty of grip at the end of the race.
Yeah, I was monitoring during that beginning part. I was watching the tire temp. They got up to about 217, and before it started raining, so I started hitting all the wet that I could on the track. Every puddle that there was, I was hitting it just to try to cool them down. And I really don't know if that did anything, but it kept me having grip the entire time. So I was happy with that.
Well, you made it 2 weeks in a
You
row.
drove a great race, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
2 weeks in a row, John. I mean,
Yeah, this is my third week in a row.
Oh, it is.
third week in a row.
Yeah. Hopefully next week when everybody's back, I do the same thing.
I mean, it'd be a good showing for you to do it out at Watkins Glen. Obviously, a famous sports car circuit for us to go racing at. So it'd be good for you to carry the momentum and make it another week in a row here with us too. But John, a great job this season. A great race from yourself as well. Let us know who you want to give a shout out to. Anyone else maybe watching and giving you support as well.
By the way, I like the new livery you got this week too.
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, do you?
It's a
Yeah,
good-looking car.
I do like that as well. And, my biggest help is my wife. She sits there and watches your guys' broadcast and tells me what's going on. So, she's the biggest help that I have. She helps me get through the race. So, yeah, well, it was awesome. And I really wish that more people would understand that the racing in the wet is not as hard as it is. You just got to take it slow. And I wish more people would have joined us today. But, it was a good race.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome.
Well, you drove exceptionally well, John. Thank you so much for coming over chat to us. Best of luck next week out at Watkins Glen. And congratulations on the race win.
Thanks, sir. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
John Weinrich, our Pro-Am winner here this evening. Jim, that'll bring an end to our show here tonight. As I mentioned, next week we're racing out at Watkins Glen, one of the homes of sports car racing in the US, obviously, as well as one of the homes of road course racing in the NASCAR span of racing as well across the US too. It's a very famous racing circuit out of suburban New York. I look forward to going racing once again. Silverstone, we came to the UK for the first time this season, and it's thrown out the UK weather for us, Jim, in a bunch of rain. Hopefully, when we go over to Monza for our first Italian race, it throws out Italian weather and we get some sunshine.
Yeah, that'd be
That's what
nice.
I'm
And some
hoping for.
pasta.
It'd be nice. Oh, it'd be fantastic.
You can break out all of your pasta jokes from Misano.
I might be a little bit too cheesy for that one, there, Jim.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an imposter when it comes to some jokes.
Here we go. Okay. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to do that to you. I apologize.
I told you I'm a sleeper agent, Jim, and you said my code word.
All right. Well,
big thank you though to everyone who has joined us here tonight, though, Jim, and massive thank you to you as well for being here once again. If you're joining us for the first time, or you've been here for a little while, hit the like button, subscribe, the bell icon too, so you're notified whenever we go racing on the channel. Next up on the docket, this weekend we've got some Truck Series action coming your way from I2I, coming on Saturday evening. Myself and Jim Cunningham in the booth for that one, for the second round of that series. Has the other Oval Series started up yet, Jim, or is that starting up next week?
No, it's the 26th, whatever it is, the last weekend of October.
Okay, so next week.
Yep.
Next week. Yeah. Okay, well, that's coming up this weekend for you, so you guys can see that action coming your way. Live right here on the MotorMouth Broadcasting channel. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined us once again. I've been Hamish Rando with Jim Cunningham. This has been the High Point IMSA Championship out at Silverstone for round 4 this evening. Thank you guys so much. See you guys next week out of Watkins Glen. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.